Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday morning motivation. Once again.
Yes.
Here we are.
Another week has come and gone.
Another week.
Yeah.
Another week indeed. If you guys are brand new to the channel, I'm Chris, better known as Chris Cooking Nashville. Here on the YouTubes, this is my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor, the amazing country artist. If you guys have not gone to ashtaylor.com and seen all of the amazing things that she has, and if you haven't gone to Spotify or Apple Music or any of these other places where you stream music and listened to the amazing Ash Taylor country artist, what are you doing with your life?
Oh my goodness.
You're missing everything. So ashtaylor.com for all of that stuff. If you guys are brand new here, I am a proper human diet chef and recipe creator and YouTuber, and Ash is my partner in all things, but very kindly goes along with me on this crazy proper human diet YouTube journey. Between the two of us, we've lost about 230 pounds.
Yeah.
And reversed all kinds of metabolic issues and improved our mental health in so many amazing ways, and just lots of things that we have done. And now we are blessed enough to get to talk about this when we're not on tour playing shows.
Yeah.
So when I'm not her lead guitar player, I'm in the kitchen, and when she's not my camera operator and partner in YouTube, she's writing songs and touring around the country and taking me with her. So
yeah, and the dog too. Take the dog with us too.
we can leave the dog here. That's all right.
No.
So
good.
Anyway, well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. It is Monday morning where we try to stay motivated, be informational.
Encourage people.
Yeah.
Who's got their coffee?
Yeah, I've already finished mine. So
I'm working on mine.
I'm just sitting here waiting for the effects to kick in. So, guys, if you're here, let us know you're here in the chat. Say hello. Let us know what's going on. Especially if you're new to the channel, please, please, please do not in any way feel weird about being brand new or anything like that. Please say hello and let us know you're here so that we are aware, so that we can say hello to you.
Yes, we like new friends.
Yep.
Did you want to just say hey to a couple folks?
Yeah, let's say hey to a few people that are in the chat, and then we're going to dive in. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what we're talking about today.
Awesome, fantastic. And hey, really quick, guys, before Chris starts preaching his sermon, as I like to say, can you guys just make sure that you can see and hear us okay? Just leave a comment letting us know.
Yep.
I just want to make sure it works. We've got a new microphone recently, so
Yep.
want to make sure everything's working. Carrie's here with us.
Good morning, Carrie.
Says hello, everyone, as I'm pulling the boat up to the live stream.
Yep.
The wonderful Miss Jolene is
Hello,
here.
Jolene.
Good morning and God's blessings, Ash, Chris, and this beautiful community.
Same to you, Jolene.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Jolene.
Hey, Dr. Singleton.
Yeah. Says, good mornings. Blessing Chris, Ash, and to all you precious people.
Same to you, my friend.
Yes. Pray you all have a wonderful day.
And you too.
You too. Thank you. Rockin' Keto Amy.
What's up,
here.
Keto Amy?
That's awesome. By the way, I saw Amy. Now, Amy, I haven't watched it yet, but I put it in my save for later. Amy just came out with, I think it's a really cool video, or maybe it was a live stream about like some crispy onion ring type things.
Oh, okay.
And
all right,
I
we
have
gotta
it
watch
saved.
that.
I'm gonna watch it for later.
Heck yeah.
I figured if I watch it, then I can message Amy and say, Amy, when can we come to your house for dinner?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
It was really cool. Way to go, Amy, though, for putting out some good recipes and content. That's
Love
awesome.
it. Love it.
Super cool. Let's see. The beautiful Miss Angie Z is here.
Hi, Angie.
Love Angie. She says, good morning, friends. Hope everyone is doing well.
Yes.
We got Miss Lynn here.
Hello, Lynn.
Good morning, Chris, Ash, and all.
Yes, good to see you.
Oh, always love Lynn. Let's see here. Sherry Nevada Pup is here.
Hello, Sherry.
She says, good Monday motivation, CCN fam.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And here's our wonderful rockstar moderator.
Oh, what's up, Rockstar? Janelle in the house.
Janelle is here. Everyone better be on their very best behavior.
Yes.
You know, she'll get you.
Yes.
And Amy says, please hit that like button, y'all.
Yes, thank you so much, Amy.
Yeah, like it, share it with your friends, leave a comment. We really appreciate that, guys.
Absolutely. It makes all the difference.
It does. Here's Mr. Dennis.
Hello, Brother Dennis
Yes.
in the house.
He says, hi all from Newport, Tennessee. I have some things to do, so just be moderating.
It's all right. We
All
appreciate you
good.
tuning in however you can.
Dennis is the coolest, man. He
Yes.
really, really is. And this is awesome. Janelle says, please visit the CCN studio Keto channel and hit the like and subscribe there too.
Yes, and I see she put the link in the chat, but it is
She
also
sure
linked
did.
in the description box. So either way, you can see it in the chat or you can see it in the description box.
I love it. Mrs. Newton's Big Family Big Noise
Hello.
says, hi. Love it. Caleb's Carnivore Quest is here.
What's up, brother Caleb? How you doing? How's the arm wrestling going?
The arm wrestling, that's so cool.
Yep.
I love this username, Southern Grammy Wolf.
It's fantastic. Hello, Southern Grammy Wolf.
Carol32547.
Hi, Carol.
I love it. Janelle says, "Oh, epic live! I'm excited."
Well, we hope it's going to be epic. That's the goal, anyway.
We always try to be epic, but sometimes we might do better than others. So.
Depends on how much sleep and coffee you've had some days.
True. Hey, Auntie's here.
Hello, Auntie. How are you?
Says, good morning, all. Good morning, Chris and Ash. Good
Yes.
morning. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, good to see you.
I love it. Looks like your dad's here.
What's up, Papa Nashville in the house?
That's right. We got Miss Peggy in the
Hi,
house.
Peggy.
Heidi says, good morning, Chris and Ash and all the band.
Good morning, Heidi.
I love it.
Yeah, by the way, guys, have you joined the band yet? Our private community where we do all kinds of cool stuff. We're going to actually be really ramping that up here.
We are.
Coming very soon. In fact, we have, we just scheduled it yesterday. We have a special live stream that is going to happen just for band members and for tribe members in Dr. Barry's group.
Yes.
And we have a special guest that we're going to be doing some stuff. And so the only two places you'll be able to see this live stream are in our private group or in Dr. Barry and Nisha's private group.
Yeah.
And one of their coaches is going to be talking with me. So we're going to do a really cool live stream, and we have a bunch of stuff like that coming. Something that I had asked some band members, like, what kinds of stuff could we do, for private community type stuff? What can we do to help you guys? What would be useful? And we got a number of great comments, but one of the things that was said was, when you're trying to go out and you're trying to help people, you're trying to tell people about a proper human diet, you're trying to talk about keto and carnivore and how it can change people's lives, or even if you're just going out and helping people, maybe not specifically talking about a proper human diet, but you're just helping people with whatever. And then, your proper human diet is just kind of an element of what you do.
Yeah.
Right? What do you do? Like how do you actually do these things? How do you treat people? What's important? What's maybe something you shouldn't do? Like these kinds of things. And just taking the time to discuss those kinds of things so as a community we can all work together. And we're going to talk about some of that stuff on this first live stream that we just set up yesterday.
It's going to be so good, y'all.
Yep, so we're going to do that, and we're going to do cooking stuff, like all this kind of stuff in the band, but all that stuff is there. And the only place you get to see that stuff is if you are a member of the band. So it is linked in the description box for you guys. We would love to see you over there and just get to work with you a little more one-on-one, a little less through the chat, and a little more like you can direct message us, or it's a smaller group that we can all just interact and just be a family that supports each other and works together. And if you guys have never been involved in music on the road like we are, you may not realize, but as a band, when you're traveling, when you're doing all this kind of stuff, you are fully reliant on those people to have your back on the road. And when you're struggling or going through stuff, or things are busy or difficult, or something comes up, something falls apart, something doesn't go well, not just on stage, but everywhere, those are the people that you rely on, and those are the people that lift you up and support you. And that's why our group's called the Band, because that is exactly what you guys are for us, and it's what we hope to be for you. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, and you want the support that makes all of the difference with the community around you on this journey of proper human diet stuff and just everything we're trying to do to improve our lives, the Band is where you find it. So come join. We would love for you guys to be over there.
Are you looking for a very fun, low-carb, dysfunctional family to be a part of?
Yes. That's a really great description.
Come join the Band.
Yes, come join the Band.
Yes.
That is linked in the description box.
That's
so
awesome.
Yes, we love you guys.
Do you want to go ahead and maybe start?
Yeah, let's
start
chat a little
here?
bit. Let's chat a little bit while I'm talking, and then we'll get back to saying hello to everybody. So keep putting your stuff in the chat. And if you have comments, if you have questions, anything about any of this stuff, you let us know. But so I actually have some notes sitting here because this is just a little too much for my little brain to try to keep track of all of this and not forget anything today. So the title of this is Rewiring Your Brain for Clarity and Power with Proper Human Diet. And the reason that I wanted to talk with you guys about this is, I would say, one of the strongest effects that I personally have experienced on this whole proper human diet journey. Right? Weight loss is great. Pain going away is great. Like, all of that stuff is great, okay? But even if none of that happened, this mental thing that has happened to me on a proper human diet would be worth doing it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, pain in your body is difficult to deal with, and there's things that, may or may not make your life easier or harder or whatever that you can go through, and there's ways that a proper human diet can help you address all of that. That's all, yes, absolutely. But you will never get outside of your own head. That is where you live. Your entire life is inside your mind. And if anything is wrong inside your brain, you suffer for it. And there is nothing you can do to get away from it, ever. There is no treatment that can pull you out of that or make you forget it, because if you're conscious, you're inside your own head. That is just the way it is. So when you are looking at the benefits of eating a proper human diet, I personally have experienced this, and I think many people do. I think the clarity and the power and the rewiring of your brain that happens from properly nourishing your brain with the right nutrients, the right foods, is the most incredible and powerful effect of having a proper human diet lifestyle. So we're going to talk about this, because it's one thing for us to all sit here and say, oh, proper human diet's going to clear up your head. It's going to make your brain feel good. Like, all this kind of stuff. You can say that all day long. Fine. But someone who is brand new to this, or who's considering trying this, or even some of you maybe who have done this for a while, but, you just are wondering if it's really worth it, or wondering, like, why is this actually helping, or should I trust that this is helping, or do I need to really try to go cleaner, or, like, whatever. You're looking for this experience that people are talking about, or you're investigating this experience, whatever. Wouldn't it help to actually have some information that explains why this is happening?
Yeah.
So that you know that you're not just taking it on faith, but we can actually have some evidence for it.
Yeah.
No, listen, if you guys are around our channel at all, I'm all about taking things on faith. I'm all great with, like, the faith, right? Like, we talk about our faith and what we believe, and how we live our lives and all of that kind of stuff. And you don't have to agree with us. You can totally be on the opposite side of this, and we love you just the same. But, for us, faith in salvation through Christ is the most important thing in our lives. And that's a wonderful thing. But man, is it hard to have faith in dietary advice out there and this nutrition stuff, because there's 100 people that will all give you 100 different things you should do, and they'll all tell you, just trust me, it'll work. It's just great. It's going to fix all your problems. It's all over the internet, right? And they just all want you to take things on faith. And then when you try to dig into it, maybe they don't even want you to take it on faith, but they will give you evidence, and then the evidence is being manipulated back and forth to try to make it seem like their solution is the right one, right? Studies and observational data and, like, all this kind of stuff, and how you present it and how you approach it and all this kind of thing can make it very cloudy, this whole issue, right? So all I'm going to do is give you some whys of what a proper human diet is going to do in your brain. And then you can decide if that's evidence, if that's something you want to research further, if that's enough for you to take it on faith and try it, or if you're already doing it and you already agree, but maybe you just need a little bit of a refresher on why this matters to help bolster your commitment to your proper human diet. Whatever your need is, hopefully this is something that will just mean a little bit of something to you.
Yeah. Because
I know it certainly does for me, and it's one thing for me to sit here and say, oh, my mind is so clear on a proper human diet. Like, that's great. That's very woo-woo and, like, new agey sounding when I say that. My brain is awake. Like, right? Like, that's, Great, but what does that actually mean? And I think I'm as guilty as any other influencer out there of sometimes touting the benefits, but forgetting that people who haven't experienced them aren't ready to just believe you.
Yeah.
And they want to understand a little more about why. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. So, why would eating a proper human diet cause clarity and power in your brain, and why would it help you rewire your brain for this? Well, first of all, we talked about was that last week we did the dopamine detox
Yeah, it was last
discussion?
Monday.
Wow, that seems like that was
5 years ago.
that seems like it was
no.
yeah, like it seems like it was a lot longer ago than just last week. But we did a talk yet last week on a dopamine detox. And I've got a free protocol on the website. You can go to that video, the Monday Morning Live from last week, and there's a link in the description that will take you to a hidden page on the website. It's free, just PDF you can download. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to give me your email address or anything. It's just there for you to reference. But go watch that if you haven't seen it. Download the dopamine detox if you would like to try it. And it's not medical advice. I am not a doctor. I'm not telling you medically what to do. It is just anecdotal experience and information from my own research for your entertainment and educational purposes so that you can take your own wellness into your hands based on what you choose to believe about it. Consult with a physician. That's your job to do and make sure that you're taking care of your own health. But there's some information there for you. It's totally free. And we were talking about this dopamine detox because we are all on a standard American diet so bombarded by things that cause dopamine hits, right? Sugar and carbs and chemicals and junk and all these things. And that's why we get this sort of drug effect of being addicted to this stuff, because we're just constantly dosing our brain in dopamine. And it gets to be so much, right? It's a lot. So I don't want us to feel like we have to constantly get this addictive dopamine hit going on. And it looks like Janelle actually just dropped the link to the dopamine detox. Excellent. Thank you, Janelle. I don't want you guys to feel like you constantly need dopamine hits to survive. I don't want to feel like that, right? Because it's very stressful when you're constantly fighting, trying to get enough dopamine to make it through the next 5 minutes of your life. Like that's exhausting. So we talked about the dopamine detox, and all that is a 5-day protocol that helps you begin. It's not going to fix your issues. It's just to help you begin seeing what might be possible. Just intentionally doing something to give yourself some space from the dopamine for a few days so you can start to see honestly and objectively, is there a dopamine thing going on in my brain, right? So that's where we kind of start. And then we need to figure out, okay, well, so what do we do instead? And this is where rewiring our brain for clarity and power with proper human diet starts to come into effect, okay? So what's actually going on when we eat a proper human diet? Now, when I'm talking about a proper human diet, I mean very low on the carbs, right? Now, where you want to fall on that spectrum, that's up to you. You need to do the N=1 experiment. Are you just kind of a general low carb, like 100 grams of carbs a day or less, and you're good? There are people like that. Great, fantastic. Are you more like paleo or whatever you are, right? Then you can come all the way down into keto, where you're 20 grams of total carbs or less a day. You can go ketovore, where you're like 10 grams or less. Or you can go carnivore, where you try to remove all of the plants and you stay as close to zero as you can. There is trace carbs even in things like eggs and meat and all that kind of stuff, so it's never technically zero. But theoretically, right, we're kind of staying as close to zero as we can, and whatever carbs you're getting really come from plant, or from animal context, right? So trace dairy carbs maybe, or the little bit in an egg yolk, whatever. If you want to use spices and sauces, that's kind of up to you, right? So maybe it's a dirty carnivore, clean carnivore. Maybe you go really strict carnivore, and it's like meat, and it's salt, and it's water, and it's eggs, and you do little or no dairy. Maybe you have to go even further. Maybe it's a lion diet, and you're eating red meat of various varieties, salt and water, and that's it. Maybe you include coffee. Maybe you don't. I don't know. It's a whole spectrum. You find out where you sit on that. But why? On that proper human diet spectrum, which is very heavy on meat no matter where you are, lots of animal fats, you're removing seed oils, you're removing processed foods, you're removing excess sugar, you're not eating carbs, you're not eating any of that stuff. Why would that rewire your brain? Why would that actually do that? Why would that make a difference? Because, one of the things really popular right now is, because it's trending, is the whole sugar diet thing.
Yeah.
Right? And Nick Norowitz actually did a video. I have not gotten a chance to watch it yet, but the long and the short of it is he was talking about, from what I have been told, the reason people are seeing some of the weight loss and things they're seeing on the sugar diet is because it's not because of the sugar, it's actually the taking out protein. And that's not necessarily a good thing, but they're seeing results as an effect from removing all of the protein. And it's not the sugar that's causing it, it's the removing of the protein that's causing it. And there's other ways to get the same effect that you don't need to be dosing yourself with carbs all day long. So you guys do what you want. For me, not interested in the sugar diet, and I think it sounds crazy, but to each their own. We're all on our own journey here, but that's not something I would be suggesting anybody do. So instead of that, let's think about what's actually going on a proper human diet with lots of animal proteins and lots of animal fats, low carbs, none of the junk, get rid of the grains, get rid of the sugars, definitely get rid of all the processed foods and the seed oils, okay? None of that. Why would that actually help you? So first thing is dopamine stability from nutrient-dense food. Now, we were talking in the dopamine detox about how we eat carbs and sugar and junk and whatever, and we get these spikes of dopamine, right?
Right.
Hits. Now, dopamine is not a bad thing. Dopamine is a natural part of your brain. You're supposed to get dopamine because it's what helps you feel good. So it's the feel-good chemical in your brain. But if you're spiking it unnaturally, where it's like super huge spike fall, that's like doing drugs, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not good for your brain. So when you eat processed foods that spike the dopamine too fast, especially things like sugar and processed carbs, this leads you to a dopamine burnout, and you feel foggy and moody and unmotivated. And Lord help me, have I experienced that. I mean, have you guys experienced this? If you felt this dopamine burnout where you're foggy and you're unmotivated and you have no energy and you're moody, you're getting hangry all the time. If you experience that, tell us in the chat. What is that like for you, right? Let us know if you agree. I have experienced that. Hardcore. Okay? That's what processed junk does. Instead, if we're eating carnivore and keto foods, they're rich in fat. They're rich in protein. They have the appropriate micronutrients that we need, right? Especially if you're including things like liver or, other types of organ meats or whatever. These stabilize your dopamine. So you get dopamine, but not in big spikes, right? It's the same thing with blood sugar. There's nothing wrong with glucose going up in your bloodstream. You need that for certain things in your body. That's why your liver can go through a process called gluconeogenesis, where it can actually take protein and create glucose out of it. Because when your body needs glucose, it will make glucose. You don't need to eat glucose. It will create it for you. But there's nothing wrong with a little bit of rise in blood sugar when your body actually needs it. The problem is when you spike your blood sugar by eating a bunch of sugar you don't need, and then you spike your insulin to bring it back down, and you're just constantly playing this insulin glucose thing back and forth, and you're glycating your cells and destroying your body in the process. That's when it's a problem. So dopamine is the same thing. There's nothing wrong with having dopamine. We want dopamine. The spike of dopamine, where we get the hit and then we drop, and then we hit and then we drop, and we cause burnout, that's when it becomes a problem. So when you're eating a proper human diet, you get steady, slow release of dopamine, which gives you consistent energy and clear-headed motivation. So this is part of where we're getting this clarity, because we're getting dopamine in the appropriate levels, and we're not spiking our dopamine. We're giving ourselves a natural, steady hit of dopamine and coming back off steadily, and everything quiets down and everything settles out, and we feel good in a sustained way. So that's the first thing. Number 2, fat is brain fuel, and this is why I don't do the whole low fat thing. I'm not saying you can't occasionally do some low fat. If you are like working on some things, you're fasting, you pull some fat out, go protein because you're trying to like go lift weights. There might be 100 reasons maybe you play around with your fat macros and figure out where you feel your best, and that's cool. But in general, Fat is brain fuel, and this is why this whole low fat, count your calories BS that has been told to us for so long doesn't help anybody. Mm-hmm. You want to see someone who's like totally out of control and mentally is just totally not all there? Go find somebody that has no fat in their diet. Like, we've seen it. It happens to us. If we don't have enough fat, I can tell my brain doesn't function as well. She can tell her brain doesn't function as well. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic for your brain and your hormones and all of this stuff. So fat is brain fuel. Your brain, do you know what your brain is made of?
Cholesterol?
Cholesterol and fat. Mostly your brain is cholesterol and fat. So why is fat and cholesterol bad for us when literally our head is filled with it?
Yeah.
Okay? Ketones, which is produced by fat metabolism in the low-carb diet, right? We burn through the glucose, our body gets fat adapted, and then we turn fat into ketones, and we burn ketones for energy, okay? Ketones are clean-burning fuel that reduces inflammation in the brain and enhances mitochondrial function. So mitochondria inside all of your cells are what take these things that are coming from your diet, right? And they create the energy in your cells. Fat turning into ketones is a clean burning form of this energy that makes your mitochondria function better. That's why you get the energy, right? And that goes for your brain as much as any other part of your body. This boosts your mental clarity, your memory, and your mood regulation. So when you want clarity, you want to be able to remember things. You want mood regulation where you're not swinging up and down. Your hormones are regulated. All of these things, fat in your proper human diet is one of the best places to get that. That burning of those ketones, eating the fat, having the ketones, burning through those in a clean way boosts this amazing mental experience we have. Number 3, protein equals neurotransmitter production. This was one that, as I was doing the research on this, I thought was interesting. And I mean, I think I kind of knew this in a sort of an abstract way or in kind of a nebulous way, but I hadn't really honed in on specifically thinking about this. Amino acids from meat are the building blocks of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Now, do you know what GABA is?
I don't know what GABA is, no.
Okay, so I had to write this down because I generally know what it is, but I'm not a doctor. I don't memorize these things to where I can just tell you offhand. GABA stands for gamma-aminobutyric acid. And what it does is it slows down excessive brain activity by reducing nerve cells' ability to send chemical messages to other nerve cells. So essentially, it gives you a calming effect and helps you manage things like fear, stress, and anxiety.
Oh.
Because GABA, it's actually a good thing to have. You don't want too much of it, and you don't want not enough of it. You want the right amount. It helps your cells, your nerve cells, from one to the other, not just overly and excessively communicate chemical messages one to the other. It regulates that. So you get the calming effect. You don't feel fear and stress and all these things that you can't explain why. You are experiencing a calm that comes from the appropriate amount of chemical messaging between your nerve cells, okay? So that's GABA. So amino acids from meat are the building blocks of neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. And all of these things are important for how we're feeling. If you're not getting enough bioavailable protein, now bioavailable is really important because you'll hear vegans talk about there's more protein in spinach than there is beef, which, no. But even if there was, the problem with protein in plants is it is not as bioavailable as animal protein. Our body has to go through a whole process to break that down and turn those amino acids into something we can absorb and actually use. And it's very difficult for our body to get enough of that and to be able to use it in the right way. So bioavailable things are really important. Like you can have all of the whatever nutrient in the world it is, but if none of it's bioavailable and you can't absorb any of it, it just goes in one end and right out the other. So what good does that do, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't help us. So bioavailable protein is really important, especially from the animal sources. You literally can't make the brain chemicals you need to feel good and stay focused without that protein. If you don't have bioavailable protein, your body cannot make the chemicals that feel good. So if you want to have clarity and not have mood swings and not be ready to like punch somebody every 5 minutes, you got to have the animal protein.
Yeah.
It's just science, okay?
Yeah.
So fat being a clean burning fuel, making everything clear. Protein, the building block of all of the chemicals your brain needs to produce to give you the feel good stuff, right? And we were talking about the dopamine stability and the carnivore and keto foods that are rich in fat and proteins, helping us get the constant and consistent appropriate release of these things. Okay, so you see how this is all building together. All right, and then 4, inflammation kills your focus. So if you're eating processed seed oils, sugar, grains, all of these things, it creates neuroinflammation, which impairs your focus, memory, and mood. So not only are you getting less of the fat and the proteins that you need for the clarity and the feeling good and the brain power, you're getting less of that. You're also getting more grains, more seed oils, more sugars, which creates inflammation, which impairs what little bit you've already got. So you're hitting it from both sides. You're not only not getting enough of the stuff that makes you really feel good and produce all these things that cause mental clarity, you're taking what you are getting, and then you're inflaming your brain, making it less effective. So you're actually fighting yourself on 2 different ways, from 2 different sides. Reducing the amount that you have and making the amount you do have less effective simultaneously. Right? This is where all of this like horrible, moody, like, I need another dopamine hit thing, that's where it's coming from. Because that's how our brain works. So reducing that inflammation, that neuroinflammation, makes a huge difference. Removing these items and fueling with animal-based nutrition reduces inflammation, leading to better mental performance and emotional stability. Okay? So all of this lines up to show very clearly that if you eat animal protein with animal fat, so yes, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
if you eat animal protein that has fat attached to it, don't trim the fat, eat the animal fat, eat the animal protein, get the carbs and the junk out of the diet, get the processed food out of the diet, right? You decide where on that proper human diet spectrum you feel your best, right? Play around. Do I need a little more protein? Do I need a little less fat? Do I need a little more fat, a little less protein? Can I handle a few low-carb veggies? Do I need to totally avoid low-carb veggies? Can I have coffee? Should I not have coffee? Like, you figure out all of these details, right? But the overarching thing you need to be doing is getting the animal fat and protein in your body so that the fat can cause all of the proper brain function and be burned as a clean fuel. The protein can give you the building blocks to create all of the things like the dopamine and the serotonin and the GABA and all the stuff that makes everything function well. And you get all of the inflammation out of your brain by not eating the grains and the sugars and the seed oils and the processed things that make everything go and then, get all clogged up. So you're creating more of the good stuff. Your brain is better at using that good stuff and functions. The inflammation goes away and you can think clearer, and it lets you utilize what your brain already has better. And then it comes along with a whole host of other metabolic health benefits as well.
That's awesome.
And that is why when you start eating a proper human diet and you get off of the standard American diet junk, or wherever it is you are in the world, the standard whatever junk, right? When you get away from that and you lean back into this eating real whole foods and not putting trash and poisons into your body, your brain clears up and it rewires for clarity and power. And this is why, and for me, keto helped. Going carnivore made all the difference for me, personally.
Yeah, it really did.
Right? So now I kind of flex. I live on a proper human diet spectrum. Most of the time I'm carnivore. Sometimes I go back towards keto, right? And I just kind of flex around. I'm not into labels. I'm not into dogmatic attitude. None of that. Figure out where you feel best and live a great life, and let me support you in it. That's why I'm here. I feel best most of the time being mostly carnivore. That's just where I feel good. My brain has clarity. I don't feel the mood swings. I don't feel the dragging. I don't feel any of that. Like, I can feel it in my brain. Ash will tell you.
Yeah.
I have had, sometimes I've eaten certain things that are keto, but maybe just for whatever reason I get an inflammatory response too much from. So certain things, I've done the N=1 experiment, and I know there's things that I shouldn't eat because it just doesn't work for me. I've also had cheat meals. I know. Oh gosh. I've had cheat meals, right? And when I do the keto stuff that doesn't agree with me, or when I've had the standard American diet meals, celebration, a birthday, or whatever, I can feel it in my brain. I can immediately tell. Sometimes within 20 to 30 minutes, I'm getting tired. I can feel my blood sugar moving, doing weird things. Or if it's really more of the inflammatory keto stuff, I don't get so much that. But the next day, there is inflammation in my brain. I can tell.
Yeah.
I don't think clearly. I don't work as well. I'm struggling. I'm dragging. I'm mentally foggy. I can tell. So that's why I've said, like, if I never lose another pound, if I never have anything else metabolically inside change or any of these other kinds of things, the very fact that my brain does what it does without the carbs would be enough of a reason for me to do this, because I live a fulfilling, happy, enjoyable life eating a proper human diet that I did not have without it.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what I'm trying to teach people how to have. That's why I create the recipes, because if you can have these things that make you feel good and enjoy your family gatherings or your holidays or traditional things, or you can have foods that are familiar to you, or you just use them as transition foods as you're kind of going from standard American maybe to what you eventually would want to be, like, I don't know, strict carnivore or whatever. Having those recipes somewhere along that way, maybe that makes a big difference for you, and maybe that's something you can start working in this direction. But if you can live a happy and more fulfilling life and you're just good to go, I don't care whether you're skinny. I don't care if your skin clears up 100% or not. I mean, I'd like to see all that stuff happen for you, sure. But you live inside your head. And there's nothing you can do to get out of your own head. So if you can get your brain to clear up, and you can have that clarity, and you can have that experience of living your life, you can work on all the rest of it going forward. But if you're stuck inside your own head, miserable, and you can't get out of it, and you can't do anything about it, what hope is there to be able to change the rest of it?
Yeah. The battle starts in the mind first.
It does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you have anything you would like to add or say?
Just really quick, I want to kind of get to the comments, because we have so many great comments and questions in here today. But I wanted to thank you for taking the time to put all that together.
Yeah.
I know that probably took you a little bit to research and go in depth. So thank you for doing that. I think knowledge is power, just simply put. And so for years I have known, and have seen in you and myself and other people that when we eat a proper human diet, no matter if that's keto, carnivore, carnivore, low carb, wherever you are on the spectrum, it's like your brain does light up. Yeah. And I think when you're trying to, let's say, maybe understand your own body and like your own health, or whether you're trying to go out and tell someone else about this lifestyle, having knowledge like that, to not just be able to say like, oh yeah, if you eat this way, like, you won't have brain fog and like you'll be cool. That's cool. That's that works. And for some people, they might take you at your word and they may give it a try and it may be a thing. What a great way though to have the knowledge and the education behind it, to where you can actually scientifically prove, hold on, this is why this is this way, and then to tweak it for yourself. If you're still having mood swings, if you're still doing this, well, maybe add more fat, and kind of flex your own N=1, because now you understand the science of, when I give my body these things, here's what's happening, and so here's what I need. So I think that's a very educational thing. I feel like maybe I should call you Dr. Delisle today. Very smart. I enjoyed that. I think that's awesome. But yeah. I think it's great stuff, so thank you.
Yeah, well, I think for you guys, if you're anything like me, understanding why that's happening, just having someone who's done the research of this
Yeah.
to just lay out like, okay, here's the 4 reasons this is happening and here's what's going on from a very, in one way it's very scientific, but in another way it's very layman's terms because I'm not a doctor and I'm not smart enough to give you all of these great big science words, right?
Yeah.
Like I can figure out how to pronounce most of them, and that's about as far as I go with it. Like I'm a chef, a YouTuber, and a musician. Like that's what I do. So it's really cool to have the ability to just sit there, listen to someone lay it out for you so you're not the one having to do the research in the moment,
Yeah.
and just hear someone else explain it in a very simple layman's terms thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it just gives you an outside perspective on it, so you're not in the midst of the research. You can just sit and hear it and then try to grab it like a nugget of wisdom that you can just
Yeah.
file away and feel good about.
I also think something that's really cool is like, this is really good for people who have maybe been eating this way for a while and maybe didn't understand all the science behind it.
Right.
Kind of wish someone would have done that
Yeah.
when I first started.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think when you first start out, your body is still really healing and still doing its thing, and you're already kind of maybe a little brain fogged.
Right.
You're kind of starting to get that awakening, but maybe you're
Right.
not there. But that can be a lot for your brain to kind of handle it first. So.
It can. Well, I mean, truthfully, a lot of the stuff that we know about a proper human diet, I've learned by watching Dr. Barry's videos religiously. Like, I would watch them for hours and hours and hours. And here's the deal. Dr. Barry, I know he's just like a redneck country doctor, he says. But
He's
Dr.
smart.
Barry's also brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? And he understands, because he's very well studied in this stuff. So when he would say all of these things, I would then go through, like I would read the research that he would link in the show notes. I would watch videos multiple times. I would go to Google and he would say something and I'd be like, what does that actually mean? And I'd Google it and like study it. Dr. Barry, he breaks things down in such an easy to understand way. But being a doctor, there's things he knows because he's studied that he might not even realize that he's saying, where I'm like, okay, that's a thing that I need to go research. He might not even know it is.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same way when I walk in the kitchen, I go to do something. I don't think about the fact that I should tell everyone else that you do it a certain way. My wife here is fantastic at telling me, like, hey, you should probably explain to people what you're doing there because they wouldn't maybe naturally know that.
Yeah.
I cook so much, I do things without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Dr. Barry does so much medical research and understands the science of this. There's probably things that he doesn't even think about are things.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, so him doing all this incredible research is great. And then the rest of us, myself and other people, when we take it and we have the time and we go like research it and find different things, we break it down, then we communicate it to someone else. It's nice to have both of those voices because you see it from different perspectives and you get a better overall picture, I think. So
Yeah.
I would know nothing without Dr. Barry, but that's why I like doing this research and then telling you, okay, as a redneck guitar player and YouTube chef, here's what I'm using to describe that,
Yeah.
and how it makes sense to me to understand it, and hopefully that's not like a thing that's weird or comes across in a strange way or hard to understand, and maybe it's helpful and makes sense. So.
Yeah. I wanted to throw this comment up really quick from
Yeah.
Tammy. She said, check out Dr. Barry for all the big words in science. The
Yep.
tribe is awesome. So is Nurse Nisha. We all support each other on this way of eating.
Absolutely.
You
Dr.
got
Barry
it.
and Nisha are doing incredible work to save I don't know how many lives on a daily basis. It's hard to even fathom the reach that they have with the work they do. That's why we support them. That's why I'm a member of the tribe, and that's why I do some private live stream stuff in the group in there too. So.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into some comments here,
Let's
babe,
do it.
'cause
Let's see what we got going on.
We got some stuff going on.
Great.
We have, I believe it's pronounced
Eleni or
Eleni?
Eleni or Eleni, one of the three. So sorry.
So sorry. We probably just butchered your name.
Yeah.
But we're so glad you're here. Please tell us in the comments if you're still here how you pronounce it so we can get it right. But good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
So sweet of you. And let's see here. They also say y'all are so cute.
Oh, you're very sweet.
You're very cute. We got Miss Holly Springer here
Hello,
in the house.
Holly.
Love Holly. Heidi says, oops, band members. I'm in the middle of the woods camping up in northern Minnesota. Love the woods and cooking over the fire. It's just 55 degrees. Love it, though, and love you all.
Oh, love it. It's awesome.
We love it, too. And Rockin' Keto Amy says, loving the new podcast, Ash.
Yes, if you guys didn't know, Ash launched a brand new podcast called Ash Fault.
Yeah.
And it's all about life on the road with musicians, and she's going to have some veterans, and she's going to have some like a traveling nurse, and
all kinds of
like
people.
all kinds of people, and it's all about living your life on the road. And quite honestly, it might be interesting for people who are keto or carnivore, because what is one of the things we're always talking about? How do you take care of yourself on the road, especially eating? But there's other things we have to do to take care of ourselves. So it's very, very appropriate for proper human diet lifestyle folks. So.
It honestly kind of is. And we talk a lot about mental health and taking care of yourself on the road. With every single guest we have, we talk about all kinds of stuff. So feel free to check it out. But thank you, Amy. I appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely.
And Southern Grammy Wolf also says that she's going to check out my music.
Yes, you guys got to. It's so great.
So sweet.
You'll hear me playing a little guitar.
I was going to say, hear Chris jamming away. Let's see here. Sandra says, good morning from Panama City Beach, Florida. I bet it's nice in Florida. Caleb's Carnivore Quest just said, I just made a video arm wrestling a bunch of carnivores.
That's awesome. You have to go check that out.
Carnivore thing I've heard all day. Cheryl is here. We also got Blue Diamond Bill in the house.
Yes, hello Cheryl and Blue Diamond Bill.
Ann D says, hey, howdy, hey. Good morning to my CCN friends today.
Yep.
Cookie Carter is here.
Hello, Cookie.
Says, question. Hi, Chris and Ash from Barbados. I am inquisitive to know how you come up with these amazing ideas for your recipes. I need to know how you do it. You are so creative. Love you guys.
I appreciate that, Cookie. Thank you. You know, I think that's a hard question to give you a satisfactory answer to, but I'll try my best. So I look at foods that I think people miss, or I look at foods that I think would be cool to make. And, you know, it's not so much that I need them to remain on a proper human diet, so much as I think it's fun. And when it's something that I think is fun, and then I have an idea of how could I make it look like that? And then what ingredients would I use to get the texture right? And then how would I create the flavors and all these kinds of things? It kind of, some of it is just... It's a little bit of just random inspiration from being observational. Like, we're songwriters, right? So how do you write a song? You observe the world around you, and then you make commentary on it, right? Like, that's kind of what we do. We make commentary on the world around us, and we try to see it in a different way than somebody else has before, and so then we just try to express that. And really, recipes like this are kind of the same thing. I try to see techniques or foods or different things like that from a perspective that's different than how the rest of the world sees it. More information coming in the future. I think there's a reason for that I do that, but we'll talk about that in the future as we have more to share. But I see things in a very different way. And I just try to figure out how to put stuff together. And honestly, I'm not afraid to try doing things with ingredients that everyone else would think is crazy.
Yeah.
I just do things that I would never do. And quite honestly, I'm here trying to help people. And when you dedicate your time and your energy into doing things to help other people, God honors that.
I agree.
And he gives me ideas and concepts and things that probably mean things to people that I would never even know exactly, but I'm just here to be a vessel that can be used and do things to try to help other people. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I want to jump ahead really quick.
Yeah.
We have, I believe this is a new person here with us today.
Hello, Big Wave.
Big Wave.
I love that name.
I love it too. I don't think I've seen their name before, but they have a great question.
Yeah.
Can anyone here explain to me the expression N equals 1? Does it refer to self-experiment?
Yes, it does refer to self-experiment. So N equals 1 is a concept that comes from the world of kind of like science and medical type things and all these kinds of stuff. So basically, N equals 1 is essentially a self-experimentation. So we are all an N equals 1 experiment, which means it really only applies to how it comes out in our body. Doesn't mean that everybody else is going to be the exact same way. There might be similarities, but the only way to know how it's going to work for you is to do the N equals 1 experiment of you try the things. You try keto. Maybe you try carnivore as an elimination diet, and then you slowly, one item at a time, add things back in to go back the other way. And then suddenly you try something and it doesn't work really well. It makes you feel bad, and you go, oh, my body doesn't like that one. I didn't even know. Right? And so for you, you kind of put together a list of here's my foods that work and here's my foods that don't. But you have to do that through experimentation, because if you blindly believe what someone on the internet tells you is going to work for your body, you're setting yourself up to let somebody else ruin your life. And it doesn't mean that their information is bad, but we are all a little unique and a little different. Some of us handle things better. Dr. Berry talks about how there's a natural distribution curve with anything, right? Majority of people are somewhere here in the middle. You have some extreme on this end and you have some extreme on this end, and that's a natural distribution curve, which is biologically the way humans are. And so some people on this end can handle lots of carbs. Some people on this end can't handle a single thing. And most people exist somewhere in the middle. But you have to do the experimentation in your own life to figure out where in that spectrum you kind of live, right? The general consensus from the science is that a proper human diet is best for all people because it's just the most optimal for functioning, and it seems to be what humans have been on since the beginning of time. But maybe you're a little this way, maybe you're a little that way, and you have to figure out the nuances of where within that you are. And that's what an N=1 experiment is you go do the work of trying these things and figuring out where you personally feel you're best. And if it's a little different than the person next to you, that's okay. If you're happy and you feel good and you're healthy, who cares if it's a little bit more or a little bit less or a little bit this way or a little bit that way? Who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Find what works for you and enjoy it, right? And that is the crux of an N=1 experiment.
It's awesome.
Yeah, great question.
Good explanation. And Cookie Carter says, wonderful, thank you for your response.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We got Cranky John.
Hello, John.
Cutler here. Miss Virginia's here.
Hello, Virginia.
Sharon's here.
Hi, Sharon.
She says, good morning, Chris and Ash. Rainy Monday in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, it's been raining a lot here lately.
It has. We're kind of over it.
Yep.
Blue Diamond Bill says, Chris, finally got all the stuff and made your deep dish pizza recipe. I could not believe how good it was. I am hooked. Gonna try bagels next. Is there an alternative to whey powder lactose issue?
Hey, Bill. I'm so glad you enjoyed the pizza crust. You know, there probably is something that could be used other than whey, maybe like a beef isolate protein or something, but here's the deal. Like I said in that bagel video, when you change one ingredient, you probably have to use a different amount, or maybe a different amount, or like all of these different kinds of things. When you change one thing, you have to get that ratio figured out. And then a lot of times that ratio, it turns into a cascade effect where it affects all the other ingredients and their ratios. So is it possible? Yes, it is very possible you could use something else other than whey. However, without a lot of experimentation to essentially create a new recipe that uses a different powder, I can't tell you offhand what to do. So it's possible. It could end up dry, it could end up grainy, it could end up too dense, too hard, it might not rise the right. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can happen because when you start playing with ingredients like that, it can lead to a whole cascade of effects. So it is possible, but it's probably going to take a bunch of experimentation to find out exactly how to do it. So
yeah,
I know that's not a very satisfactory answer, but unfortunately it's just the best one I can give.
Honesty is always the best policy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
This is so awesome. Mark is watching over on Facebook and says,
hey, Mark.
June 24th will be a year carniversary lifestyle.
Oh,
so
rock
cool.
on, Mark. That's so great, brother.
Love that. And we got lots of folks talking about, including Caleb's Carnivore Quest, talking about like, yep, I'm a band member.
Yep,
I'm in the band.
Absolutely.
So we love our band members.
Absolutely, we do.
Yeah. Ricky V says, good morning, Miss Ash and Brother Chris.
Hello, Brother Ricky.
Ricky V in the house. We love Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky's awesome.
Dude, him and his wife are just lovely people. We got to meet them at Meat Stock.
Yep. He gave me some incredible salt. I'm actually, I went to the grocery store. Ribeyes are on sale.
They are, yeah.
Right, so ribeyes are on sale at the grocery store just around the corner here. And I saw they didn't have any in the case, but they were cutting more. I could see through the little window into the back. I could see the guy back there with the big carving knife, and he was cutting ribeyes. And so I stopped the meat manager as he came walking out, and I said, hey, can I save you guys the trouble? Can you just sell me a whole ribeye loin? And he goes, well, it's still going to be the same price per pound. And I said, that's fine. I'm just going to save you the trouble of cutting it.
Yeah. Because
it was already a good price. It was $8.99 a pound, it was like $8.99 a pound, which crazy for ribeye. Like, great price. So they gave me an entire 17-pound ribeye loin that I'm going to cut into steaks. So I'm going to cut off a couple of big ribeye steaks for us for dinner tonight.
Yep.
And because we're going to be filming a video, but you guys will see Saturday. But we're going to film a video, but I'm going to make steaks to go along with our dinner tonight. It's going to be the main portion of our dinner, and I'm going to use some of that crunchy salt that Mr. Ricky V gave us to season up those ribeyes. It's going to be good.
So good. I love it.
Yeah.
Grandma Patricia Hoffman is here.
Hello, Patricia.
She says, "Hey, all Ash, love your T-shirt.
Yes,
Thank
great
you
shirt.
so much." Yogi is here.
Hi, Yogi, another band member.
Awesome. Rocky Keto, Amy says, it's hard for someone like me to travel and stay on this lifestyle. My carnivore friends packed a whole suitcase full of meat to take in their carry-on for our choir trip. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, it's listen, guys, we travel on tour and play music and do all this stuff. It's tough to stay carnivore on the road. You know, that's one of the reasons why I kind of flex into keto from time to time. Because on the road, keto is a little bit easier for me, and I know which things will make me feel real bad and which ones I can tolerate for a little while.
And I think that's the thing too, Amy, like in our experience, the more we've traveled, the more that we've realized that whole N=1 also applies when you're traveling. There are certain restaurants or certain places or certain things we can eat where we find that it works, even if maybe if it's not perfect or ideal. Things like traveling meat, making jerky. I mean, there's always like all these in-betweens. But yeah, I think that is something that you just kind of have to get used to. And I mean, the truth of it is like when you go up in elevation, like on an airplane, you're going to get a little puffy. You know, I mean, like there are things where it's like maybe just don't jump on a scale after you get back. Give your body time to adjust. You're changing environments and different things. And a lot of the times when you're traveling, you're also under a lot of stress. So
I also have to say, shout out to Dr. Kiltz. Okay. I have implemented a brand new sort of perspective in my life because I saw him talking about this on a live stream. And this kind of goes to that comment of like stepping on the scale, you know, after you've been flying and all this kind of stuff. I'm not telling you guys to do this. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And it doesn't
from personal experience.
Personal experience. And here's the deal. It doesn't really matter if anybody else thinks this is a good idea or a bad idea because I'm living my life to be happy and enjoy this, whatever. So, doesn't work for you, that's cool. But here's what I'm doing. I am not stepping on a scale. I am not taking measurements. I'm done doing it. I'm done. And here's the reason. It's not really something I was focused on anyway. But Dr. Kiltz was doing a live stream, and someone asked him about, well, I had this thing, and I've done this, and I've eaten this, and whatever, and my measurements haven't changed, and what do I do, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember it was the funniest thing. I love Dr. Kiltz for this. He literally leans towards the camera, and he goes, stop measuring. And he's like, eat the fatty meat. Look in the mirror and be thankful to be blessed to have the body you do. Live every day full of joy, full of positivity, full of faith. Find God in your life and go enjoy your life and be thankful for the blessings you have. Get off the scale and stop measuring because it just doesn't matter. And I was like...
Dr. Kiltz preaches it, yeah.
Yes. And I've realized, because he was like, he said this before, he's like, get rid of the inflammation. The fat, once you get rid of the inflammation in your body and like all of the junk and, you know, the toxins and everything from the things we've been eating, he's like, once you get rid of that, the fat is going to be there on your body and do what fat does. It's going to provide energy. It'll go away as your body wants it to. It'll do what your body is meant to do. The fat is not your disease. It's a symptom maybe of an underlying disease, but once you fix that underlying metabolic disease, the fat is just there to do what fat does. It's not causing disease. Now, if you have excessive amounts of it, sure, it's probably uncomfortable, and maybe it's causing pain or it's causing some other issues that kind of still need to be resolved. But it's like, basically, it's like, be patient, do the things that make you healthy, and be blessed and enjoy the body you have. And it's like, even if it's not as skinny as you want it to be, who cares?
Yeah.
And I thought that was brilliant. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to worry about it anymore. Long as I feel good and I'm metabolically healthy and I'm happy and living my life, I'm going to love the body I'm in. And I'm just going to work on continuing to get healthy. And if someone online thinks you're not skinny enough, or they think you're not doing enough, or you're not carnivore enough, or you're not this, or you're not that, go tell them to go screw themselves.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't matter. You don't have to live up to what anybody else thinks you should be when they know nothing about what it's like to be in your body. Love the body you have and work to make it better every day.
Amen. We have a lot of comments to get through.
Yeah.
But really quick.
I'm going to stop preaching so much.
I was going to say, focus. Right
there is no focus.
There is no focus, none. To Amy's question, though,
Squirrel.
that is something that a lot of people, struggle with like traveling and stuff.
Absolutely.
And we had done
We do too.
Yeah. But Chris and I were talking about it. I think in the band, we're actually going to put together like a little video course that would be like our tips and tricks, though, on how to live this lifestyle, whether you're keto, ketovore, carnivore,
how
etc.
to feel good on the road.
How to feel good on the road and what you do. So stay tuned for that, because that might be something that might actually help a lot of people.
I totally agree.
Because we have done it and tried and failed and done it again. So
absolutely.
Share our experiences. Hey, I want to give Blue Diamond Bill a shout out.
Aw,
Give
Bill.
you a $9.99 super chat.
You're very
says,
kind,
Chris.
my friend. Thank you so much for the support. That makes so much of a difference. You guys don't even know.
Seriously, like when we talk about that, like guys, that seriously like means the world to Chris and I.
It really
like,
does,
Thank you. So thank you for that, Bill. I really appreciate that, my friend.
Absolutely.
And also, we have a new YouTube member.
We do.
Yes, let me find it here, right here.
Rancid Pandemic. What a cool name.
Cool name. So yeah, they just joined.
Well, thank you for joining the YouTube members.
Yes, that's
very
so
cool.
Exciting. So thank you for that. So appreciate that. Super kind of you guys. Let's get back to all of our questions here, because we got, like I said, lots to go through here.
Hi, Deb.
Deb Nelson. Yeah, good morning. I'm on a road trip from California to Georgia with my daughter and grandkids. Leaving Arizona soon, heading to New Mexico. Always fun to catch you two live.
Love it. Well, Deb, please be safe on your travels.
Yes, pretty please. And Janelle says, love the lack of brain fog with this way of eating.
It's one of the greatest things.
It really is. Tammy says, hey, band, sorry I'm late. Bacon and eggs up for lunch.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, lunch at Tammy's house.
That's right. I like that.
Amy has a great question.
Yeah.
How much more clarity did you notice going strict carnivore from meat-heavy keto/ketovore? I really don't want to go full-blown carnivore, but the mental clarity is enticing.
So I'm going to let Ash answer most of this because I, like I told you guys, there will be more information coming. But I'm really looking into why Carnivore has done what it has done for me. There's a lot of backstory here, and we don't have time to go into it all today, and we're still researching. But in a future video, we'll be talking about why, specifically for me, Carnivore is such a big deal. But for me personally, 2 weeks into Carnivore, I turned into the person you guys now see as Chris Cooking Nashville. I was a completely different person, even on meat-heavy keto. I really was a completely different person. Now, I can flex back in the keto direction or even have the cheat meals, and I don't become that old person anymore. I may feel some of the draggy brain fog stuff, but I go right back to being exactly who I am easily now. It took a lot of healing for me to get there. But for me personally on Carnivore, I am a completely different human being.
Yeah.
I am sort of maybe an extreme example, and we'll tell you guys more in the future about why. But Ash has done Carnivore, and I think she can tell you what her experience was better than me.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, Amy, this is such a good question, so thank you for asking this.
Yeah.
And I want to answer this as truthfully as possible. So I genuinely think, though, that this idea of, like, man, I want to go full-blown carnivore because I hear of this mental clarity, and, like, what is your experience with that? Great question. Here's the honest truth, though. This is really an N=1 experiment.
Right.
So when I went from standard American diet to keto, I had the total brain awakening. All of this energy, all of these things got fixed. I felt great. Chris felt pretty good. We were both losing weight. It was
I felt
thing.
a lot better for
He
sure.
felt a lot better was a thing. When Chris went carnivore, like 2 weeks in, this man became a totally different person, like he just said.
Yeah.
So Chris is like an extreme where his N=1, he knows that him being a strict carnivore means that mentally he is like at the top of his game and his peak. And even when he does go like, you know, maybe have a little veggie or a little something, he goes right back to it. And that works really well for him.
Yeah.
So I've done keto. That's where I got it. I would say ketovore. I kind of live there mostly only because that's kind of where I personally feel my best. I actually feel really good after eating like some onions. Sometimes I like the other night we had Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
I had broccoli. Like I feel really good with that. And I feel like my brain, I can tell like really, really, really works with that. And it's good. When I did carnivore for 30 days, I felt a big, massive like energy boost. And I would say a lot of mental clarity. But then I couldn't sustain that. And so what I've done, Amy, and maybe this will help you because I noticed that, you know, you're talking about that kind of transition, but you're like, I really don't want to go full blown carnivore. Maybe this will help you. So what I basically do is for like the first 2 weeks of the month, I'm basically pretty much ketovore, right? And then the third week of the month, I'm a lot more keto, right? So I add in maybe like a little berries or like, whatever. And I basically just kind of eat depending on what my body tells me. Now, if I'm going to do something, like let's say, for example, I know you sing in the choir. Let's say you're going to go on a choir trip, okay? Or like if I'm going to go play a show out of town, I'm going to be traveling, performing. If I'm going to go do something like cut vocals in the studio, right? I want my body to do a photo shoot. You want your body to have the least amount of inflammation, and you want to make sure that like your mind is just firing on all cylinders. So like a week before that, I will literally like cut back on my dairy. I eat really red fatty meat as much as possible. I'm just a lot stricter because I know that it's like my brain may work better on carnivore, but I can't be carnivore 365 days out of the year.
Yep.
So I don't know if that helps, but I think it really is an N=1. Because I've also talked to some people that have gone full carnivore from ketovore, and they didn't notice that big of a difference. So I think it really just depends on like you and your body and your brain. Because maybe you're like me. Maybe you're more like Chris.
Some people
Maybe
it changes
yeah.
their lives, and some people they're like, that's like basically the same as what I was just doing 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And well, and that's the thing. When I went carnivore, that was the thing too. It's like I could tell it was like, yeah, my brain's clear and I have energy and maybe a little bit more, but it wasn't like this eye-opening.
Right.
It wasn't like, so I could be keto or ketovore, and it's like I don't really notice that big of a difference.
Yeah.
But some people may disagree.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it kind of goes back to an N=1. But I would encourage you to try it because you never know. It could be cool.
Absolutely.
It could be cool, but that's a great
Try
question.
it, see if you can make it 30 days through it, and if you end up going back the other direction and you're just better that way, great.
Yeah.
You'll find what works for you.
I also have to just say really quick, we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a proper human diet spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? Keto, ketovore, carnivore, low carb, all that. You just got to find where you feel you're best on the spectrum right now. And I think sometimes we kind of think that carnivore or the lion diet is because it's the most extreme.
Somehow it's the most ultimate and elite.
It's the most ultimate and elite. And I don't really think that's true for some people. Now, you may be keto for a couple of years and then ketovore, and like maybe you progress, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like forcing people to think carnivore is the ultimate. Maybe it is for you, and that's cool. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Just keeping it real.
Yep.
Cindy DeManch says to hit the like button, folks.
Hi, Cindy. Thank you for being here. And yes, guys, please hit the like.
Listen to Cindy. She's
Yes.
cool. Janelle says type 2 diabetic cousin was most interested in the lack of brain fog. She's doing well and excited for the changes.
That's fantastic.
That is awesome.
That is great.
Mr. Brian Fly Fisherman Dishes here.
What's up, Brian?
He says, good morning, everyone. Tammy says, amen, Chris and Ash, especially in these trying times. My faith in my Jesus as my Lord and Savior is the first and foremost. God bless you both for keeping it real in our Lord.
Amen, Tammy. Thank you so much for your support.
So great. And Tammy also says, working hard on turning off electronics by 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, it's hard. It's hard,
good.
but it's a good thing. You just one step at a time, guys. One step at a time.
Hey, here's our buddy Aaron, average keto carnivore-ish guy, says, good morning from Buffalo.
Yes, absolutely. And Aaron, it's really good to see you. Thank you for being a member in the band, by the way. I saw when you joined over there, I was really excited because obviously your name pops up all the time. It was like, oh, Aaron's here.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We love having you in there.
Yep.
Thank you. Sandra P says, everyone, keep on going for your PhD. The rewards are amazing and so worth it. Don't give up on yourself. You're always worth it.
Yes.
Love that.
Sandra, who taught you to be so sweet and uplifting to people?
I don't know, but I like Sandra.
That's so great.
I think it's awesome. Hey, Miss Charlie Wallace is here.
What's up, Charlie Wallace?
It says, good morning, Ash and Chris.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. And Rockin' Keto Amy says, I watched Nick's video and it was very sciencey. And Michael Hackett says, Nick's video is great.
Yeah.
Well worth watching. And Janelle put the link there in case people want to check that out.
I love it.
So it seems like a really cool video you were talking about.
Yes. And here's the deal, guys. I'm not here to attack the sugar diet. I'm not here to attack anybody who's trying the sugar diet. Everybody needs to do their own thing and do their own N=1 experiment. I just know that there seem to be a lot of bad issues coming from dosing ourselves with sugar day after day.
Yeah.
And for me personally, it's just not worth it, and I think there's other ways to do what it does. But
it's
just me.
We live in a free country where all adults do what works for you.
Yeah, eat what you want.
Yeah. Evelyn says, hello, friends.
Hello, Evelyn, my sweet friend.
Yes. And Janelle says, sugar diet is a big no for anyone with insulin problems, which is most of us.
Yes, unfortunately, I think a lot of people suffer from insulin issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Andy's here.
Hello, Andy.
We love Andy. She's awesome. John Wise says, hi,
What's
everyone.
up, Brother John?
Love John. on. Karen Kruger says,
hi, Karen.
Good morning, all. I made your bagel recipe, and it is fantastic.
I'm so glad you enjoy it. We love that one, too.
Yeah. Dr. Singleton says, the proper human diet also decreases inflammation and helps put out and get rid of the brain on fire.
Yes.
Hey.
Absolutely.
I love this. Holly Springer says, I tried meds for my ADHD years ago, and I can honestly say running on ketones is the most effective way I have found to manage my ADHD.
Yep. Dr. Barry says the exact same thing.
It's amazing.
It is a cool thing.
Yeah. Terry at My Terrific Life is here.
Hello, Terry.
We love Terry. She says,
Yes.
good morning, CCN family.
Yes.
Grandma Patricia Hoffman says, so much good information.
Well, thanks,
Chris.
Patricia.
Yeah. Also says, explains why I got so depressed on a vegetarian diet.
Yep. And I think that's kind of a really common experience we see with people that eat any kind of a plant-focused diet, vegetarian, vegan, any of that, even pescatarian. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like you got to work so hard to get so many of those things.
But, you know, if you're trying to teach someone about a proper human diet who, say, is vegetarian, Presbyterian, etc., having this information that you talked about today, like sending them this video and scientifically breaking it down to why your body needs fat and red meat and all that.
It's the difference between saying you shouldn't be vegetarian or vegan or this or that and attacking them versus sending them a video and saying, hey, I know that this is like an important thing to you and I get it, but have you seen this kind of information and are you considering this? Because I care and I want to make sure you're healthy. That's two very different reasons to talk about.
It's the difference, I think, between preaching at somebody and then sharing information with someone. You know, sharing knowledge. I love that. And Janelle says, loving all the good information on this Monday morning motivation.
Thank you, Janelle.
Yes. Latros here says, howdy from Dave in Austin.
Well, hello, Dave.
I love it. And hey, here's your buddy, Mr. Chris Bear.
Oh, Chris in the house.
Chris
best buddy, Chris Bear.
Yeah. Says, wait, so you're saying I should want less inflammation?
Nah, you should be all swollen up and bright red and puffy and unable to move at all times, man.
Oh, I love it.
By the way, guys, if you want to help your inflammation and you want your body to feel better, Chris Bear is the head dude and nerd over at a place called Keto Chow that also has salty. And if you don't know about salty electrolytes, you guys have got to try them. I've tried a bunch of different electrolytes, and salty are the only ones that finally fixed all of my muscle cramps in the middle of the night and my calves. The only ones. They're the best amount of potassium and magnesium for the price that I have found. Go actually compare the amounts with other leading brands, and you can tell they're amazing. I have a link in the description box and get you a discount. Just go down there and click that for Keto Chow, but you can also get salty, and they are incredible, and their flavors are
amazing.
The best.
They really are.
The best. So
I love that stuff.
We love Chris, and we love all the folks over at Keto Chow and Salty, and we don't use Keto Chow as often, but we do use it, and I still do some recipes and stuff and work with them too, so
yes. Also,
either of those things.
Chris is awesome, and he always has the coolest shirts, and he's like the coolest guy. His wife Miriam is also like the sweetest person.
Yes.
So Chris, if you're still watching, tell Miriam that we love her. So
yes.
Love our Keto Chow fan.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And Janelle says, explains being hangry very well.
Yep. Seeking out that dopamine hit because everything's sad and foggy.
Yeah. Literally like a drug addict.
Yep, that's right.
It's crazy. Jeffrey Cox is here.
What's up, brother Jeff?
Oh, he's awesome. He says, hello, watching semi-live. Missed the opening comments. Love you three. Keep fighting the good fight.
We love you too, brother.
Love it. And our buddy Dave in Austin says, I finally found a picanha roast at my regular grocery store.
Yeah.
Wow, yum.
There you go. It's a fantastic thing to do.
It's my favorite for a reason, Dave. It's some good eats, man.
Good stuff.
Good eats. Tammy says, don't forget to hit the like thumbs up button for Chris and Ash.
Thank you, Tammy.
Tammy's the sweetest, man. She's great.
Hello, Emily.
And our girl Emily says, good morning, friends. Good morning.
We'll be working with Emily on some cool stuff. You guys keep an eye out.
Yes, absolutely. Gail is here.
Hi, Gail.
Good question. She says, like, what about having seasonings on my food?
Yeah, it's a good question. This, again, N=1. Some people need to eat meat and salt and water because if they add seasonings, it causes inflammation and they feel bad, right?
Yeah.
Anita at Ketogenic Woman is one of these people who she doesn't eat black pepper because for whatever reason, black pepper messes with her. Now, she can eat white pepper, so it's the hull on the outside of black pepper. Something about that causes things like joint pain and issues for her. Now, I don't seem to have any issue with black pepper whatsoever. So it's just one of those things that, you know, the best thing you can do, Gail, is just try without it right? Go like 30 days if you can without using seasonings. Do like meat, salt, water if you're concerned about this, and then start adding seasonings back in and see how you react, and just see what you feel like. And I use seasonings all the time, but there's certain ones I stay away from.
Yeah. N equals
So,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, great
Great
question. Emily wants to know, Ash, where did you get your shirt?
Who was that poor old lady you beat up and stole that from?
I did not beat up no old lady. What are you talking about? I'm about to beat you up. Quiet. Hush. I bought this shirt on a website called boldoversize.com. It's kind of like an overstock liquidation thing. I buy a bunch of clothes from them. I love their stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just boldoversize.com is where it's at. But they have all kinds of like music and band shirts, and I really love their stuff. They're awesome. So
very cool.
Tammy says, but that's the beauty of the PhD. We can flex it a bit. When the spectrum, not a fan of this word, but that's the right word, I say within the keto aspect of the way I eat. But that's the thing. Just float on the proper human diet.
That's
spectrum.
right. You just kind of move back and forth through it and find out where it makes you happiest.
I love that. Dr. Singleton says, I love that figure where you feel best and live a great.
Yeah,
Amen.
That's it. Figure out where you feel best and live a great life.
Here's our beautiful friend, Carnivore Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
We love Jerry. She says, being on BBB&E makes my brain light up.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of people experience that.
John Long is here.
Hi, John.
He says, hello, joining late and listening while working.
Oh, that's all right. We appreciate you being here.
Glad you're here. Emily says, my brain is why I started this journey. I knew doing keto years ago, my brain got better, but babies, I knew I needed help, but didn't even have the capacity to count carbs.
Yep.
Carnivore brought me back.
Absolutely.
When you were talking about this, I literally thought about Emily.
Yeah.
Because I know her brain, like she shared, like this is the reason.
Yep.
And
she's a great example of someone who did the N=1 and found out Carnivore did something special.
And so she does it, and she's awesome, like total rock star. I love that.
Absolutely.
Terry at My Terrific Life says, the other day I wasn't feeling well, very lethargic, didn't want to eat at all. When I did break my fast around 5, I ate beef fat. Started feeling better within an hour. Better than any medicine.
It's incredible.
It's true, though. It's true.
It's
when
incredible.
You feel bad, you just eat some fat.
It makes all the difference.
It does. And Deb Nelson says, even on this trip, I planned and prepped all my snacks for the road. And any restaurant I go to, I am making sure it either has steak or burgers.
Yep.
I've done it at home, and I'm doing it on the road.
That's amazing.
Go, Deb.
Fantastic.
Come on.
It can be done. It's not always the easiest, but it can be done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It can totally be done. Janelle says, not a question, but unfortunately some people are so lost in brain fog they can't understand enough to help themselves.
Yep.
Especially with the earliest Alzheimer's.
Absolutely. Yep. And that is why kindness and support and gentle leading and helping people do whatever they can. If it's not strict carnivore, maybe it's ketovore. If it's not ketovore, maybe it's keto. If it's not keto, maybe it's low carb. If it's not low carb, maybe it's just getting the snacks out of their house. I mean, whatever we can do to support somebody and not beat them up for not doing it the way we do it, but rather say, we care about you. How can we help you get one step better today than you were yesterday?
Absolutely. Cindy, I want to shout her out here real quick.
Yeah.
Says, on BB&E this month, after 1 week, down 5.2 pounds, definitely needed a reset. That's
rock
freaking
on,
awesome.
Cindy.
Cindy, look at you. You go, girl. That's so cool.
Love it.
And Blue Diamond Bill has another great question.
Yeah.
Says, still trying to figure out if I am getting enough fat. If I eat only 80-20 ground beef, how can I get 60% fat?
So, okay. So this is a really interesting thing. So when you say 60% fat, when an influencer says, here's your percentage, your fat versus your protein, what they mean is by calorie, not by weight. So, generally speaking. So, here's the thing, Bill. Honestly, what I would suggest you do is you just experiment. I wouldn't worry about trying to get a specific percentage exactly. Just, if you're getting 80-20 ground beef, figure about what that is percentage wise by calorie, which I know calories are dumb, but it's a metric we can use for something like this at least. Look at the fat that's in there. Try it that way. And then take your ground beef and start adding chunks of butter to it.
Yeah.
Up your fat that way. See if you feel better. And if you feel better, great. Lean into it a little bit more. And if you feel worse or you start experiencing problems, back off of the fat. Just find where you feel better. And I think that's all you really got to do. So, yeah.
It's awesome. Susie Richardson says, hi, Chris and Ash from the borough.
Hello,
That's
neighbor.
That's our neighbor. Have you ever considered doing a video of all of your favorite carnivore marinades?
That's a really good question, Susie. So with marinades, there's not really much carnivore that you can marinate things in, or marinate, I suppose, would be the appropriate conjugation of that. There's not really carnivore stuff to marinate things in, with the exception of maybe you could do like beef broth, and you could like maybe add anchovies in there if you wanted an umami hit. But keto, you can do lots of marinades, or ketovore, really, because you're not going to get very much from it, but it is a little bit more ketovore. But yeah, maybe we could do a video for like ketovore or like keto marinades that you can use on different meats and everything. That might be kind of cool.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. Terry says experimentation is definitely key.
Yeah, hello Terry, and thank you for just popping in and always supporting us. By the way, if you guys don't know, Terry has a channel that she is getting started on, and we got to have lunch with her and Dennis when we were coming back from Gatlinburg. We were over in Knoxville, and Terry is very sweet. So you guys need to go subscribe to Terry.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave says Dr. Kiltz is awesome, and so is Dr. Nelson.
Yes,
Dude, those are some legendary guys.
Kiltzy and Dr. Nelson are just great dudes.
Oh, dude, they're the very best.
We love them.
Also says coming up on my 14-month carnivore.
Awesome, rock on. That is fantastic.
That's super cool. And John Long says, I was struggling with the 90-second bread, but used the bagel method of cooking 30 seconds, waiting 30, cooking 30, etc. And it finally worked consistently in my microwave.
Excellent. There we go.
That's awesome.
That's great.
I'm not sure if they told us how to say their name, but I believe we'll go with Eleni, maybe?
Yeah.
I've been trying to come up with a fat bar or a palatable way to just get some tallow in me in the morning and right before bed. I've only had success by adding some shredded coconut. Thoughts?
I mean, if you like it with the shredded coconut, I'd say do that. If that doesn't work, now if you're trying to specifically get tallow, it can be a little bit more difficult. But if you're open to using butter, you could do the brown butter bites, which I have a video on the channel about. So that's a great way to have just bites of the brown, kind of caramelly tasting butter in the freezer, and you can just take them out, pop them in your mouth, and enjoy them almost like candy. I mean, they're not sweet, although you can sweeten them. You can add like allulose or stevia or something else to it if you really want to. But yeah, that's a great way to do it. Now, if you're looking specifically for tallow, you could make something like a pemmican, which would basically be meat and tallow kind of put together, almost like a homemade version of carnivore bar. But if you want just tallow and you're trying to eat it and you're just trying to choke it down, if the shredded coconut works for you, as long as it's not causing you any issues having the coconut, enjoy it with coconut. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And hey guys, by the way, I'm sorry I pulled out my phone because I don't know what happened, but our comments stopped showing up on the computer, so I'm reading them from my phone now. I thought you guys maybe had all just left the live stream and got really quiet on us, because I was like, why is nothing? I don't know. So, anywho, probably just a glitch, but I'm going to go to my phone here and just read a few more comments if that's okay. I just won't be able to put them up on the screen. Lynn says, I love that. Go Dr. Kiltz.
Yeah.
Aaron, average keto carnivore guy, says, baby steps this week. Giving up shredded cheese in my food, store-bought. Still using blocks and shred them or other normal slices. Which I think is great.
Yeah.
Jolene says, don't forget to hit the like button.
Yes, please.
Deb Nelson says, I started carnivore/keto just over a year ago, and I haven't stepped on a scale. However, I've gone from a 3X to a 1X/an XL, depending on style.
Well,
that's cool.
I would say that
cool.
I would say that says a whole lot, and rock on for that, because that's fantastic.
Oh, it's so cool. And Tammy says, amen, Chris. Do the things you do.
Yeah.
Body shaming sucks.
Yep, it does. It does.
It really does sucks. And Angie Z says, in my experience, a lot of doctors here in the U.S. want to keep patients on medications.
Yeah.
When the patient finds something that works and doesn't need the medication, it is then that keto is dangerous. Yeah. I mean, depending on the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to find a good doctor who understands this lifestyle. If you need to know a little bit of something about Amanda Decker over at Clear Path Medical, she is very possibly licensed in your state already. So if she is not, she's working to try to get there, and she still has room for some more patients. So if you're really like in need of someone who understands this lifestyle and can help you, she's a great one. Yeah,
if you guys are looking for like a keto carnivore doctor that will not give you crap basically for the way you eat and all of that, you need to go check out Amanda Decker at Clear Path Medical. She's seriously awesome.
She's awesome. She is a nurse practitioner, and she's getting licensed in multiple states so that she can help people online basically from all around the country.
Yeah.
So you can go to Clear Path Medical and see if she can help you.
She's amazing. And Rockin' Keto Amy says, thanks, great advice, Chris and Ash. I do think I'm more like Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think sometimes we think we just all have to be carnivore all the time, or we have to be keto, and it's like, it's a spectrum. Like, you can slide. Just do what works for you.
Absolutely.
And you just got to experiment to figure that out.
Do what makes you happy.
Yeah. Dustin at Keto Simple is here in the house.
Hello, Brother Dustin. The beard
says,
in the house.
The beard, the legend, the beard.
The beard.
He says, good afternoon, friends. We slept in pretty late. Bunch of rock stars.
I feel that. I really do. So my allergies are super bad today. They've been really bad the last couple of days because we've been getting so much rain and now everything is blooming. And like my ears feel puffy and I feel like I can hear the blood coursing through the veins in my ears. Like it's so weird and I'm just like, oh, I just want to go back to bed. So I'm right there with you. I feel you.
It's super, super, super true. Let's see here. Yeah, so Dustin's here. Yeah, the allergies are really, really bad this time of year.
Yeah, they're rough right now.
Chris Bear says, house directed. I have told Miriam. Ash says they love her.
That's wonderful.
And Chris Bear said, oh, she's so cute, Miriam. Yes, we love you guys. You guys are awesome. Sorry, guys, I have to read, and sometimes that can be a little bit difficult. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any questions or anything. Honey, while I'm reading here for a second, since my technology isn't working, is there any kind of oh, and I'm sorry, real quick. Janelle put up Amanda Decker's link to Clear Path Medical.
Excellent.
So you guys check that out. I'm serious. If you guys need a healthcare provider that is all about keto and carnivore, do it, man. Yeah. Awesome.
Because we are not doctors. We do not have any ability to give you any kind of medical anything. And even if we were doctors, we would not be doing that online because we wouldn't have a doctor-patient relationship with you. Amanda Decker is licensed in multiple states, so she actually can have that healthcare practitioner and patient relationship where she can actually advise you medically on things and help you with your journey. So if that's something you need and you can't find anyone locally who understands this lifestyle and you feel like that's something you really need someone's support and help with, there you go. She's your lady.
Yeah. Last comment I'm going to read is from Virginia Harrington. So I love Virginia. I've talked to her in some chats on Keto Crusade, and Carnivore Jerry actually brought her in, and Virginia is wonderful, and so is Carnivore Jerry. They're all great. She simply says, this group seems helpful. And I think that's the biggest compliment I think we could ever possibly get.
You know, guys, I really think at some point in time, life just really becomes about not only doing the best you can for the things you're doing in your own life, but figuring out how everything you do can be helpful to someone else. Because if all of us did that on a daily basis, everybody would get the help they needed all the time, and none of us would have to fight. And I think it's one of the most important things in this community of low carb, keto, carnivore, any of this kind of stuff is we have got to frickin' work together, because the infighting and the people that are, it's not a lot of them, but they're very loud. The people that like to go online and tell everyone else how they're doing it wrong, and you're an idiot, and you're this, and you're that, and blah, 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 blah. It's just so stupid.
It is.
It is so exhausting. It is so stupid, and we don't have time for idiots and assholes.
Amen. Damn. Yeah.
There you go. We just don't have time for that. We just are here to help people and make a difference. And it's like, we just want to lift you guys up. We want to help you. We want to support you. And if I don't know the answer to a question, I'll find you someone who does. Like, that's one of the benefits of me being able to do what it is I do here.
Yeah.
Is I have access, by being Chris Cooking Nashville, I have access to reach out to some people that I've gotten to meet in the midst of this. So if I need to try to get information from somewhere and I'm not sure how to get that information, I'll do everything I can to try to get that information for you guys. And, and if I don't know an answer to something, I'll see if I can find someone who does.
Yeah.
So.
Virginia says, thank you. That was sweet. Jerry is the best.
Jerry is the best.
We know Jerry's the best. Angie Z says, amen, Chris and Ash.
Yeah.
And there was one more question I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is sweet. Our friend Jay was saying they watch another YouTuber that has this issue. And they gave me some tips on how to fix it, which I tried. This is going to be working. But Jay, thank you. I appreciate it. It's never happened before.
Yeah.
It's all good.
knows?
That's why
Maybe-
God has cell phones.
Maybe StreamYard needs to update something. Who knows?
Who knows? And Dr. Singleton says, thanks, Janelle, Chris, and Ash. I just subscribed to Amanda Decker.
Oh, love it. Love it. She is fantastic.
She's wonderful human being, too.
We're going to be doing some work with her, actually.
We're doing, I guess we can talk about it a little bit. We're going to do a live stream with her coming up in July.
Yep, we're going to do a live stream
A
coming up
cooking
with...
live stream.
Yep, we're going to do a cooking live stream with her in July. Kind of one of those random pop-in backstage with Chris things we were talking about since we've stepped back from that to focus on, a few other projects. We're going to do a little random pop-in one kind of thing. We're going to work with her and let her tell you guys all about what she does. And
she's awesome, though.
She's amazing. We love Amanda.
Yeah. Found the question. Sorry, we just want to make sure we answer this before we go.
Yep.
So Holly Springer's question. I found some whey protein on Amazon made from goat milk for those of us that can't do Calgary.
Yeah.
Would that be an even switch for the whey protein for use in your recipes?
It should be, as long as it is a protein concentrate. As long as it still has the dairy carbs and the dairy fats. If it is a goat milk whey protein isolate, where they have pulled out the trace dairy carbs and the trace dairy fats, you may have to modify some other stuff. So, and apparently balloons for goat milk. There we go. So it really just depends on what the specific, I don't know what the specific breakdown of that is. But if it has the trace dairy carbs and fat in there, and it's like a whey protein concentrate that's just made out of goat milk instead of cow milk, it should hopefully, I haven't done it myself, but it should hopefully make a 1-to-1 swap.
Great question. And Holly, if you try it and it works and all, please report back, though, because there are a lot of people like you that may want to try that instead, and it would be awesome to know if it works.
And in fact, if you try it and it does work, send me a link to where you found that so that I could tell other people about it if they need it. Yeah,
because that would be awesome to have, Holly, if you don't mind.
Would be great.
Cool. Well, hey, I think we're all caught up on everyone's questions and all. I think we're good.
Great.
Anything else you want to say before we head on out?
I don't think we really have too awful much else. I hope this is helpful for you guys. I hope this sort of reaffirms that a proper human diet is good for your brain, and maybe you understand a little bit more of why. Maybe you already knew all of this, and I've just been talking to the camera for no reason. But I think it's good information. It certainly made a difference for me just doing the research. So being able to kind of put it together and talk to you guys about it, I hope that is helpful. And just want to encourage you guys, come join the band. Come join us on these live streams on Mondays. Watch the videos. Share these things with people you're trying to help. Go through your day trying to figure out how you can be a blessing to other people, and just trying to make all of these things good decisions that can help make your life a little better, one day at a time. And let us know how we can support you in that. We're going to go film a video. We have a little something different coming out this Saturday.
We do, yeah.
It's gonna be a little bit different. So I'm not gonna say anything more about it than that. You guys just have to check it out. But it's a little different style of recipe than what you're probably used to on Saturdays. But I think it'll be really good.
Awesome.
It's gonna be really, really good. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So we're gonna go do that. And we're going to do some work today, and I know we got emails and all sorts of stuff to do. So we're just going to, we're just going to go be whatever it is we need to be all things to all people, right? As they say. Yeah. We're going to do all of that. And I just hope that you guys have a wonderful, blessed Monday. Thank you for tuning in. The link for the band is down below. We'd love to see you over there because we're getting ready to ramp that up. And we'd love to share more things with you. And in the meantime, if you need anything, you guys can find us on social media everywhere at Chris Cooking Nashville. Just come hang out with us and let us know how we can support you on your proper human diet journey, and just be our family and our tribe as we're trying to do our proper human diet journey too.
Absolutely.
So we need you guys as much as I hope that we can be needed by you with the things we provide. So thank you guys so much for being here. We love and appreciate every single one of you guys. Hope this is motivational and informational for you today. Guys, eat your meat, love your life, as it says right there. We'll see you guys here in the studio for more Monday morning motivations, and in the kitchen for more recipes, and online in the band for rehearsal. Who knows, a lot of different places. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.